afternoon, good evening, and good night, and welcome to Throwbacks, where we talk all things cool and retro. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about MASK, Mobile Armored Strike Command. This was a cool toy line back in the 80s, which consisted of a lot of vehicles which didn't transform into robots, but they did transform into, I guess, like kind of battle tank vehicles that you wouldn't expect, such as the old Thunderhawk here turns into a plane, turns into a jet, and this motorcycle turns into a submarine. This turns into a helicopter. This turns into a boat, and this just turns into like a battering ram thing. So to speak. Why am I talking about MASK today? Because Loyal Subjects, a pretty cool company that I'm not super familiar with, but they've made some good stuff, are making a new MASK line. And it's going to be very similar to this. So this made me want to pull out my old MASK stuff. And I'm not huge into MASK. Like, this is just stuff that I got kind of like from toy shows and flea markets and stuff that, is in fair shape, far from complete. And, the MASK completists are going to be like, oh man, you're missing everything. And I'm like, well, that's true. But, if I was only going to buy a MASK thing that was complete, it would be too much for me. It would be more money than I would want to spend on the collection. So, but I'm interested in these, the Loyal Subjects line, because they're going to make, well, first, let me show you what I got here. This is the Condor with Brad Turner and his Hocus Pocus mask on the green motorcycle that everybody had when they were a kid, because this was like $6 or something, affordable. And then the Gator, cool looking Jeep there with Dusty Haze. And his mask is called the Backlash, but I don't have the Backlash for him. And of course, everybody is familiar with the Thunderhawk with Matt Tracker, who has the Spectrum mask, and we'll take a look at all these, of course. And we have the Hurricane, who comes with Hondo McLean and his blaster mask. And finally, the Piranha with Slyrax and his Stiletto mask, which I do have his mask. I have two of them, actually. It's funny when you collect masks. Sometimes it's hard to get the masks. It's hard to get the figures. It's hard to get stuff that, still kind of works like it's supposed to. But, we'll take a look at these here in a second. But Loyal Subjects is going to be doing the Rhino, which is a big, like a truck, kind of like a semi truck, which I did have as a kid. It was really cool, so I might be picking that up. The Thunderhawk, of course, you have to re-release that. The Switchblade, which I don't have, but it's kind of the bad guy's main vehicle, which is a jet that turns into a helicopter, that turns into a jet, that turns into a helicopter. And that is flown by the leader of Venom, the evil guys on the show, Miles Mayhem. And sadly, I don't have that to show you. And they are also, what else are they making? The Switchblade. So, I'm sorry, I just said that Switchblade is the bad guys one. So, that will be the first wave of the Loyal Subjects. And I thought I had one more MASK vehicle, but I couldn't find it. So, sorry about that. So, let's kind of just take a quick look at these. I know you guys want to see the Thunderhawk first here. So, Thunderhawk is a pretty cool little car that, I was almost getting out of toys when MASK came along, but I did get the first wave of them, I guess you could say, because I know I had this, I had most of these, and I think like the black truck, and anyway, so the doors come up, and he's a jet all of a sudden. This comes up, so jets come out, and there's place for you can drop little bombs, but of course I don't have them. And he sits in there with little seat belts. And if you're wondering about the scale of MASK, if you've never seen them before, let me get that out of the way real quick. Here's Matt Tracker with his mask on. And he is a small fellow. He's not, I guess in real life he's probably not, but I just wanted to show you. Here's a typical G.I. Joe of the time. 3 3/4. And you know how it scales with modern day stuff. Everything is 6 inches. So, you know, there's like a Marvel Legends Wolverine. So you can see they're kind of, you know, they made them small figures on purpose. So they'd be affordable. They could fit in the cars. You could get a bunch of them. And, you know, la 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 la. So this is Matt Tracker. Is Matt, I got the mask. This is kind of the later mask that they started giving them that had like the longer things that come down. It would stay on their bodies more. You know, I wish I had the first version of it. They just look better. I never lost mine, so I don't know. I just kept them in the vehicles. But, you know, again, I was getting kind of older at that point. I didn't play with them as much. I was just like, oh, aren't these neat? You know, kind of like how I do now with like Masterpiece Transformers. But that's Thunderhawk. Let's take a look at the Gator real quick. And I always thought this one was cool. Let's see, this is Dusty, and I forget this guy's name, who I think he comes with the Rhino, but let's see if I can remember how to. Oh yeah, I do have one accessory on this little barrel that jumps out of the back, like a depth charge or something, but let me see. This opens up and the boat comes out, turns into yeah, I don't get it picked up right. This is what you run into when you get old stuff. But anyway, this shoots out somewhat better than what I did. And this, you know, it's a boat. Kind of looks like something G.I. Joe would have. Pretty cool. There's a mask on it. Again, I have the one functioning accessory. Pretty cool. All right. And next is another Aqua-related item, the Piranha. With I remember this guy on the show, Slyrax, because he was like kind of like an evil shipwreck. He was like, well, hey, boss, we're gonna go. And I do have. It's funny, I have 2 Slyraxes, so I put one in the little passenger thing here. That let me see if I can get this to. This shoots off. Yep. Oh, it worked. Cool. And you know, now it's not just a sidecar; it's like a submarine. So it's Piranha. And figure fits in there fairly well. It's pretty cool. This is probably one of the ones that I have in better condition, so surprisingly enough. But there he is, Slyrax on his Piranha. And the Hurricane, which is a pretty cool old car here with flames and good stuff on it. As you can tell, I'm not super learned in this line, so bear with me, but I know this. See, this kind of extra wheels come out. Let's see, how do you do it? How do you do it? Can I do it? I don't know. But the guy goes inside up here, and it's pretty cool. Little Hondo McLean. Got the mask for him. And I always thought he was cool because I liked his little purple and yellow outfit. His helmet matched the, I think that's the right helmet for him. And he goes in here not too awesomely, but he does go in there. And, you know, of course, I'm missing all the missiles and stuff. And I can't quite figure out. Here's one of the things that changes. Goes up on the front. Let's see if I can. This goes down probably to shoot a missile out that I don't have. Alright, anyway, the gist of this is like another wheel comes down. I think I did it a minute ago, and I don't want to do it now. Let's turn it around. There it is. Haha, I knew it was something. And, you know, it's more like a tank. I don't know. It's pretty cool. I always thought this was neat. And then we have the Condor. Like I said, like everybody had this one because it was like kind of cheap. And let's see, it turns into a helicopter. I think you have to just, I don't think it's spring loaded or anything. You just have to transform it yourself. And there it is. I guess you can do that. I don't remember how, this is probably the first time I've touched any of these in years. Oh, sorry. Anyway, so that's him. And he comes with, what's his name? Brad Turner. I'm missing some parts on here, of course. But I thought this guy was cool. And he came with the, what does he come with? The Hocus Pocus? Yeah, he was like the cool guy with the sunglasses. I think that's why I liked him. And he's got the later generation, which I guess it's true that these did get lost a whole lot less, because it seems to be the only masks that I have that have those things that like come down like that. But there he is, and let's take a look at some other figures. You know, I like the way they all fit in there. You know, like realistic vehicles with seat belts and whatnot. It's always pretty cool. And I got some other figures in my collection that I just got from here and there, and I really don't know who some of them are. I think this is like a hologram of Matt Tracker, which is, he's like kind of a fiery translucent. Got another Brad, and I forget this guy's name, but he was cool. He came with the, I think it's like Alex something. I think he came with the Rhino, which was cool. And he's like a bald dude with a red beard. But he was cool. And here's one of the bad guys. I forget his name. He comes with the black truck that I think I have somewhere. I don't know where it is, but I don't have his mask. And some other dudes. Let's see, who's this guy? Don't remember off the top of my head. This is another Matt Tracker, which I think he came with Rhino also, the big truck. This is actually the mask that I think the show's logo is like based on. If you can, let me get into, there we go. It's hard to see. These things are pretty small, but it's pretty interesting, pretty cool. I always like the detail on these guys, even though they're tiny. You know, they could have drawn eyeballs on them, I think, but whatever. Here's one particularly cool character I have. This is Miles Mayhem, who flies the Switchblade. He is the leader of Venom, the bad guys on the show. And, of course, Mask and Venom both stand for, like, some ridiculous thing that I can't remember. But there he is. Kind of, you know, he's got, like, kind of an Air Force general uniform. And he, you know, kind of reminds me of, like, the bad guy in the Hulk. Whatever his name was, William Hurt. I don't know. But that's him. It's him and Matt Tracker, the leaders of the good guys, bad guys. But that is my mask collection. Hopefully I will be comparing these to some of the Loyal Subjects vehicles when I get those, because I'm definitely going to get a few, because they are cool. They're like these. They're not sculpted quite the same. They're like updated versions. And I think we deserve updated versions, honestly. I think if we got re-releases of these, it wouldn't be bad. But, you know, who doesn't want a Thunderhawk that, you know, it actually looks better and works better and all that good stuff. So, anyway, I'll stop boring you guys about Mask. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video and watched it this far. If you have watched it this far, please give us a like, subscribe to the channel. We do have new content every day. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today and looking at these Mask goodies with me. Stay tuned for when we do get the Loyal Subjects, because I'll be looking at those. So until next time, me and Bad Brad are going to throw one back. And until next time, we'll see ya.